Alright, One Piece episode 1046 was just released and it is action packed. There is so much going on in the anime version at the moment, and still, this episode will blow your mind. We have so many amazing fights that have just concluded, the most recent one being Nico Robin versus Black Maria, where Nico Robin showed her amazing demonic form. It was incredible. And we still have so many fights happening in parallel at the moment, right? So we have Raizo versus Fukurokuju. Was it Fukurokuju? Yeah, that's the right name, I suppose. Killer versus Basil Hawkins. Kid and Law going against Big Mom, which is developing really amazing. And Luffy, who has just recovered his stamina from eating a ton of meat, and it's looking forward to face Kaido again. Well, did you see how Luffy digests his food? He basically just exhaled. I mean, where did the poop go, right? This episode, however, has one of the most anticipated fights so far in the Wano arc. Ever since the lead performers, King and Queen, were introduced, we have been waiting for Zoro and Sanji to face them, and this episode has delivered us just that. If you haven't seen the episode yet, let me warn you, there are some major spoilers ahead. So the episode opens with Sanji facing King and Queen alone, who are the lead performers and two of the strongest members of the Animal Kingdom pirates, right? It's basically a suicide mission for Sanji because he is nowhere as strong as Zoro or even King for that matter. If you remember in the previous episodes, King basically pierced through Sanji's armor in some sort of a aeroplane kind of a form, which was like insanely strong. Like Sanji could not block it, even with his Germa 66 suit. Um, yeah, so the episode is opening up with so much tension, and Zoro's still in his bandages. Sanji's still trying to defend all these attacks. And at one point, Sanji gets knocked off. And then at the same time, King is fighting a very powerful Imperial Flame. Now, this is where it was very interesting to see how Marco basically pulled out last bits of his strength and blocked that attack. And if you look at the scene, there's barely any exhaustion that Marco is showing on his face, and I think that kind of speaks to the maturity of the Whitebeard pirates. They've been pirates for so long; they were extremely strong, and Marco is showing that incredibly well. Like the level of maturity and the level of strength he's displaying in this fight has been truly amazing. Another sort of parallel that you could draw in this episode was the quibbling that Sanji and Zoro kept doing in this fight, and not just in this fight, throughout the story itself. And we also get to see a glimpse of Queen and King having the same sort of relationship. It's a really nice parallel that they drew between these two members, the two supposedly the strongest members of each of Straw Hat Pirates and the Animal Kingdom Pirates. So it was great to see that. We also get to see a glimpse of the daimyo of Ringo, as mentioned by the old man Yogoro. He kind of looks at Zoro, the way he's standing, the way he's fighting, and it literally reminds him of the daimyo of Ringo, who was essentially a descendant of Ryuma. If you remember Ryuma, he was the ghost that Zoro fought and got the Shui sword from him during the Moria arc, the Thriller Bark arc. And apparently Ryuma was also known as the god of blades. So he was incredibly powerful, and he's belonged to the Shimotsuki family that crafted some of the best swords that we have seen so far, the Shuisui as well as the Enma. Um, Another thing we also get to see in this episode is a glimpse of the daimyo of Ringo as well. And this time, if you notice, they've actually corrected the hair color of the daimyo. Like it used to be brown, but it was supposed to be blue. But in this episode, they've actually corrected it, and it's blue in this episode, which is a good thing. There's another sort of interesting take that we see here, something that Marco has a flashback of, where Whitebeard is sitting there drinking, and he's thinking about a time where a place existed before Marijoa, right? In the same place. And he mentions that this place was called the Land of Gods. Now, it's curious to see, like, I'm interested to see how that has a connection to the 100-year void, because I think there is a connection there. It will be really interesting to see how that piece of story is going to unfold and tie back into the One Piece arc. If you've noticed so far, like Oda has tried to tie up every single pieces of stories into something so that they are complete. You will take the Shuisui for instance, right? So he brought Shuisui to Zoro, uh, and if you think about it, Zoro's teacher Koshiro, his father was Shimotsuki Kozaburo, and that is the guy who actually forged the Enma. So Zoro is basically taking the Shuisui back from Ryuma's ghost, coming to Wano, returning the sword back to the Wano where it belongs. But in return, he actually gets Enma again, which is crafted by his teacher's father. Right. So there's a really nice sort of a connection there that they have drawn in, and it ties really nicely to the story. One other really amazing thing that I liked in this episode was the parallel that they've drawn between Sanji and Lunarian King, right? So Queen is basically saying, "Hey, you are just a human. You cannot ignite yourself. Only Lunarians can." And Sanji responds by saying, "Hey, yeah, I can do it myself," because Sanji basically trained himself so hard that he could ignite his feet, right? His Diablo moves, they are all based on fire-based techniques. And it's also a nice sort of a parallel to his role in the crew, which is of a cook. So he has to deal with high heat all the time. So this is a really nice touch that they've added to Sanji's character. We also get to see some of the most powerful attacks by Sanji so far. Like I wasn't impressed by Sanji until now. In the Wano arc, he's basically not shown any like big moves. Like he hasn't defeated one of the numbers, or he hasn't defeated, or he hasn't faced any of the Yonkos. He even got beat up so bad by Black Maria that he had to call Nico Robin for help, well, partly because he couldn't raise his hand on women, or maybe that's the case. But we had not seen Sanji in full action, not yet. And this episode is where Sanji is basically starting to show his true strength, the true results of his training, which is amazing to see. And the part where Sanji and Zoro tag team to block and knock out both King and Queen at the same time it was an incredible scene. Like it was amazing to see. And I'm truly impressed by Zoro in this episode, because think about it, right? Zoro's done so much already in this fight. He was able to defeat Apu to get the medication back so that everyone could be healed. He went ahead and he gave a scar to Kaido that is going to stay permanently. That is a big deal. Only Odin was able to do that. He's also basically tanked the most powerful attacks from Big Mom and Kaido together at once. Right? So I haven't seen a character that could tank two Yonkos at a time. Yes, it did wound him really badly, but the fact that he was able to, face without any fear, that speaks a lot of Zoro's character. Like it kind of reminds you of the scene where he basically took all of Luffy's pain, and this is the same level of determination that we see from Zoro in this particular fight during the Wano arc. And despite all of that, he is still here now fighting the lead performer. So Zoro's already done far more than any of the other Straw Hats so far in the fight. He's the doctor. If you think about it, the doctor in this episode, he is worried about the after effects of the medication that was given to Zoro, and I don't know how that's going to turn out. Maybe it does. Maybe it is revealed in the manga, but I haven't read manga that far ahead yet. But it will be interesting to see whether that medication, whether it wears off during a crucial fight. Because if that happens, then the Straw Hats are going to be in big trouble, because they need Zoro really bad. The episode ends with a really uh, sort of nice turn of events um, where Momo is now a big dragon because of the ripe fruit. Because Luffy asked him to be carried back to the island in any way possible, and the only thing Momo could do was basically grow up quickly using the ripe fruit's ability. Right. So the episode actually ends with Luffy having digested all the food, ready to go back and face Kaido, and all he really sees in the fog is two red eyes of Momo, and the size of the head, it seems like it's almost as big as Kaido's fully grown dragon. Now, this is interesting because the dragon that Momo is displaying is going to be displaying is the same size or almost as much as the same size as Kaido, which tells me that it was kind of a copy of Kaido's Devil Fruit, and it will be revealed further in the episodes. But the parallels are really hard to deny. Like there's some connection between Kaido's powers and Momo's dragon form ability, and we get a hint of this in this episode. So I think this story is going to start unfolding going forward. If you enjoyed this, thanks for watching. Keep watching One Piece, and please like and subscribe to my channel. And I will keep making more videos of new episodes as they come along. Thank you.